And we're almost ready to add the motion constraints, but one more thing is to be a good habit is to move the knee joints and elbow joints just a little bit in the direction in which they're bending. This will simplify our life a little bit. So the knees go forward, the elbows go just a little bit back. That's good. And now let's select the IK object and the lower foot object, and from the constraints menu, which is called with Control Shift C, we choose inverse kinematics. And you can see it's here, and we add the pole target as this main as the aim bone. Oh, so this the bones have just jumped. This shouldn't have happened. So we're gonna have to analyze why that happened. And I think I know why. If we forgot to remove part from that backbone, the controller bone that we were having here. See, it's still connected. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be connected to anything because it's just a helper bone. So let's select those, both of those IK bones, and press Alt P and clear the parent. And select first the foot bone and then the backbone, and press Shift P, and this will choose Keep Transform, which will link it in a different way. Yes, this is exactly what we want here. And let's repeat the process. Control Shift C, and we choose the inverse kinematics, and in the pole we choose the leg IK, corresponding leg IK, aim. Yeah, you see that direction is wrong, so we'll just switch it to 180. Now that looks good. And so what the inverse kinematics motion constraint allows us is, now we can move that the IK bone to move the leg up, and the aim to change the direction of in which the knee is looking. This simplifies the process of animation a lot. Let's repeat the same process on the other leg. Just when we had the L, we're gonna have R, 180 degrees, and they both work good. Now I would like us to link the legs to the pelvis, but before we do that, there's one parameter in the IK constraint that we forgot to set, which is chain length. We should set it to 2, which means it only affects 2 bones, which is the number of bones in the leg that we want to control with that. And then now we select these 2 bones and the pelvis, and oh, we should be in the edit mode here. Yes, and Control P and keep offset. This is linking these 2 bones to the pelvis. So now you see everything works as it used to, and when we move the pelvis, everything works the way it's expected. Let's do the same with the arms, but we now link them to the upper spine, and I keep forgetting switching to the edit mode. Switch to the edit mode, and Control P, keep offset. And now we want to link all the other stuff to the root bone, which is all these IK controllers and the pelvis. The same way, Control P, keep offset. And now when we move the root, the whole system moves with it. This is very useful, and when you want to position an object in the scene. Usually you would also add the inverse kinematics constraint to the arms, but in that case I'm not going to do that. You've seen how it's done in the legs, and we're only planning to do an animation of the character walking, and in case of walking, arms should only be animated with forward kinematics 90% of the time, so not adding those. And so you also see how you animate with forward kinematics versus inverse kinematics. The process we're starting right now is most commonly referred to as skinning, which is making the bones affect the geometry. And before we get to that, I would like to maybe hide those bones because not hide, but turn off the X-ray view for them because we're now concentrating more on the geometry itself. And let's switch to another layer and do this one little thing. Add a circle to the scene and switch the edit mode and extrude uh, this circle, yes. Extrude the geometry in so we can get this little ring. And I also want another piece of geometry, which is a cone. Yep. Oh, and I've accidentally created the cone on the object edit level, so now they're all one object, and this is not what we want. So the way we fix it, let's go back to object edit mode and press Alt P and choose selection. This will make this geometry a separate object. Let's name it something that we can refer to. Mm, Same for the circle. And switch back to the layer, to the main layer. So for these aim bones, if we go to the bone properties, mm, yeah, we need to be in pose mode for that. We can use custom geometry and let's choose the cone. Where you can find it there. How did we name it? No, no, the circle. We don't want a circle for that. What's the name of the cone? Okay, let's rename it. Yes. Now we get the cone, but it's let's give it to the other one, but it's not oriented the way we want. So we select the main one, go to edit mode, and on the edit mode level, let's rotate it so they're facing out and make it a little bit smaller. But it's a little bit down, not where it's supposed to be. I think the origin is in the wrong place, so let's go to transform and origin to geometry. And here we go. This is now on the level that we want it to be. I want them to go outside a little bit. So I'll move it out here, and in the edit mode, I'll move the geometry a little bit forward. Good. This is what I wanted. And as to the circle I want to use for the root bone. So let's do the same for the root bone. Yes, it's a little bit small, so let's increase it in size. And once again, I'm increasing the size in size the original geometry and doing that on edit level, geometry edit level. And let's hide the other layer. We don't need it anymore. The reason why I do that, it's very common to do these things that you make controllers that you're going to be using often to look better, not just like bones. It's not totally not a necessary thing. It just can make finding those in the viewport easier. That's it. And I think we're gonna need to turn the X-ray mode back on for the bones. We can also switch the way the bones are visualized in the viewport. This does not affect the way they work at all. It's just a question of aesthetics and a choice. I prefer going with the wire mode because you can still see the bones, but they don't obscure anything in the view. And now we're all ready to start skinning.